The tremor wasn't seismic, not the earth-shattering kind that splits asphalt and topples buildings. It was a subtler thing, a ripple through the air like a whispered secret that only my skin could feel. It happened the moment I saw her standing beneath the flickering neon sign of the lost and found at the train station. Not just saw her, but felt her, a jolt of recognition so profound it felt like a phantom limb suddenly reattached. I'd been there, a mess of frayed nerves and a lost suitcase, my carefully curated life scattered across the grimy floor in a pile of crumpled receipts and half-written poems. She was a beacon, a stark contrast to the gray pallor of the station, with her vibrant crimson hair and eyes that held the depth of a storm-tossed sea. "Lost something?" she asked, her voice a low, melodic hum that vibrated through my bones. It wasn't the words, though, it was the way she looked at me, as if she knew me, not the me I presented to the world, but the raw, vulnerable core I kept hidden beneath layers of self-preservation. That's when it hit me, a terrifying, exhilarating realization. I knew her too, not in the literal sense, not from a shared childhood or a chance encounter in a coffee shop, but in the way you recognize a piece of yourself you thought was lost, the echo of a forgotten melody. It was an impossible, irrational certainty, a pull so strong it threatened to unravel the carefully constructed fabric of my life. I was supposed to be on my way to a conference, a lecture on the rationality of emotional detachment, an ironic twist given the tsunami of emotions threatening to drown me. Yet here I was, rooted to the spot, my carefully planned future dissolving into the humid air of the station. She reached out, her fingers brushing against mine as she handed me my recovered journal, a simple act that felt like a seismic shift. I noticed the faint, intricate tattoo of a hummingbird on her wrist, a mirroring image to a fading scar on my own, a scar I never spoke of, and a scar that remained a mystery to everyone I knew. The shock wasn't the matching tattoo, but the sudden, vivid flash of a memory of a shared childhood dream, a dream of two girls hand in hand running through a field of lavender, a dream I dismissed as fantasy. I never met her before, yet she felt like a forgotten chapter in a book I thought I'd finished reading. She smiled, a slow, knowing smile, and said, "You've been looking for me, haven't you?" It wasn't a question, but a statement, a confirmation of something I didn't dare to acknowledge. The sudden awareness that this wasn't just a chance encounter but a preordained collision, a meeting written in the stars, sent a chill through me. This wasn't just a stranger, but someone profoundly connected to me, someone who knew secrets I hadn't even whispered to myself. The biggest twist of all was that the lost item wasn't my journal, it was a piece of my soul, and she held it in her hands. The train, a metallic serpent of indifference, hissed and shuddered, ready to devour its passengers and spit them out at predetermined destinations. But I couldn't move. The air crackled between us, a tangible energy that hummed with unspoken words and half-remembered dreams. She led me to a small, almost hidden cafe within the station, a place that seemed to exist outside the relentless flow of time. The aroma of strong coffee and cardamom hung heavy in the air, a comforting blanket against the chaos of the outside world. We sat opposite each other, the silence stretching, not awkward but pregnant with anticipation. She told me her name was Lyra, a name that tasted like starlight on my tongue, and it felt as familiar as my own. She spoke of a life lived on the fringes, of a nomadic existence driven by an insatiable hunger for something she couldn't quite name. She described visions, fragmented images of a shared past, of a bond that transcended time and space. I listened, my skepticism battling against the undeniable pull of her words, the truth echoing in the depths of my soul. She told me of a hidden sanctuary, a place where the veil between worlds was thin, a place where we'd met before, in a lifetime I couldn't recall. She spoke of a prophecy, a story etched in the stars, a story of two souls destined to find each other, to rewrite the narrative of their existence. She revealed that the hummingbird tattoo wasn't just a mark, but a key, a symbol of a forgotten language, a language only we could understand. Then she showed me a small, intricately carved wooden box, a box that pulsed with a faint, warm light. Inside, nestled on a bed of velvet, was a single, iridescent feather, shimmering with all the colors of a hidden rainbow. She said it was a feather from a celestial bird, a creature that carried the memories of lost souls, and that it held the key to unlocking our shared past. The twist was, she wasn't just telling me stories, she was reliving them, her eyes reflecting scenes I suddenly, vividly remembered. We had been children playing in a hidden grove, our laughter echoing through ancient trees, our hands intertwined. She showed me a memory of a promise we made, a promise to find each other no matter the cost, a promise sealed with a single shared tear. But the most shocking revelation was that we weren't just strangers drawn together by fate, we were something more, something that defied definition. She explained that our souls were intertwined, not in a romantic sense, but in a way that was deeper, more fundamental, a connection that predated our current lives. We were halves of a whole, separated at birth, our lives destined to converge to complete a cycle that had been interrupted. The lost suitcase, the missed conference, it was all a carefully orchestrated dance, a series of events leading us to this moment, to this revelation. The stranger I met wasn't just a stranger, but a mirror, a reflection of a part of myself I'd long forgotten. The cafe, once a haven of quiet contemplation, now felt like the epicenter of a cosmic collision. The air thrummed with the weight of her revelations, each word a hammer blow against the walls of my carefully constructed reality. I tried to reason, to apply logic to the impossible, but the logic crumbled beneath the weight of undeniable emotion. Lyra's eyes, pools of ancient wisdom, held a truth that resonated deep within my soul, a truth I couldn't deny. She guided me through a series of vivid memories, not just hers, but ours, shared moments that felt more real than my own past. We were children, explorers of hidden realms, bound by a connection that transcended the limitations of flesh and bone. We were artists, painting the night sky with stardust, weaving stories into the fabric of the universe. She showed me a memory of a hidden language, a series of symbols etched into the bark of an ancient tree, a language we'd created, a language of the soul. The twist was she wasn't just recalling these memories, she was activating them within me, awakening dormant parts of my consciousness. I began to see the symbols not just as images, but as living words, resonating with a power that vibrated through my being. I remembered the hidden grove, the ancient tree, the shared laughter, the promise. I remembered the separation, the agonizing tear, the feeling of being ripped apart, a wound that had never fully healed. She explained that our separation wasn't an accident, but a deliberate act, a necessary sacrifice to protect something precious, something that threatened the balance of the universe. She revealed that we were guardians, keepers of a sacred flame, a flame that held the power to create and destroy worlds. Our connection wasn't just a matter of personal destiny, but a cosmic imperative, a responsibility that spanned lifetimes. The iridescent feather, she explained, wasn't just a memory keeper, but a key to unlocking the flame, a key that required both of us united to activate. She placed the feather in my hand, and a wave of energy surged through me, a feeling of homecoming, of completeness. I saw a vision, a swirling vortex of light and shadow, a place where the boundaries between realities blurred. And then she showed me the most shocking memory of all. Our separation wasn't just physical, but a splitting of our very essence, a division of our soul into two distinct beings. The reason for this, we were too powerful together, our combined energy a threat to the delicate balance of existence. We were split not as punishment, but as a safeguard, a temporary measure until the universe was ready for our reunion. The Strangers wasn't just about us meeting again, it was about us becoming whole again, a process far more complex and dangerous than either of us could have imagined. The revelation hung in the air, heavy and charged, like a storm about to break. I stared at the iridescent feather, now pulsing with a warm, golden light, its glow reflecting in Lyra's eyes, mirroring the fire within my own soul. The cafe, once a refuge, now felt like a fragile bubble, a temporary sanctuary in the face of an impending cosmic shift. Lyra explained that the reunion of our souls wasn't a simple matter of physical proximity. It required a merging of consciousness, a complete surrender of individual identities to become one unified whole. This wasn't just about love, but about a cosmic convergence, a realignment of energies that had been fractured for millennia. She revealed that the hidden sanctuary, the place where we'd first met, was a nexus point, a place where the veil between worlds was thinnest, a place where the merging could occur. She warned me that the process would be dangerous, a journey into the depths of our shared consciousness, a confrontation with the shadows that had been born from our separation. The twist was, the shadows weren't just fragments of our past. They were sentient beings, entities born from the pain and longing of our divided souls, entities that would fight to maintain their independence. They were the personifications of our fears, our doubts, our regrets, and they were determined to prevent our reunion. She showed me a vision of these entities, swirling vortexes of darkness, their voices whispering temptations, promising power and control. They were the embodiment of the forces that sought to keep us apart, the forces that thrived on division and discord. The journey to the sanctuary, she explained, was a gauntlet, a trial by fire, a test of our resolve. We would have to confront these shadows not with violence, but with acceptance, with understanding, with love. She revealed that the merging wasn't just about reclaiming our lost power. It was about healing the wounds of the universe, about restoring balance to a cosmos fractured by our separation. The journey would require us to delve into the deepest recesses of our shared consciousness, to confront the darkest aspects of ourselves, to embrace the shadows and transform them into light. The most shocking twist was that the love we were seeking, the reunion we craved, wasn't just a romantic connection, but a fundamental unity, a merging of two halves into a single, transcendent being. This wasn't about finding a partner, but about becoming whole, about completing a cycle that had begun before time itself. The lover's aspect of our journey was a metaphor for the union of two halves that were meant to be one, a union that was far more complex than any conventional love story. The train station, once a symbol of departure, now felt like a threshold, a gateway to an unknown realm. We stood facing each other, the iridescent feather pulsing between us, a beacon in the dim light. Lyra's eyes held a mixture of fear and determination, a reflection of the turmoil within my own soul. We stepped through an archway, a portal hidden in plain sight, a shimmering veil that led to the hidden sanctuary. The world around us dissolved, the concrete and steel replaced by a landscape of swirling colors and shifting forms. We were walking through the memories of our shared past, each step a journey deeper into the labyrinth of our consciousness. The shadows began to emerge, whispering temptations, trying to lure us astray, exploiting our deepest fears and insecurities. They took the forms of loved ones lost, of opportunities missed, of regrets that gnawed at our souls. We faced them not with anger or violence, but with acceptance, with understanding, with love. We acknowledged their pain, their longing, their fear, and we offered them solace, a chance to become part of the whole. The merging began, a slow, agonizing process, a shedding of individual identities, a blending of consciousness. It was a dance of light and shadow, a symphony of joy and sorrow, a fusion of two souls into one unified being. The pain was excruciating, a tearing apart and a reassembling, a death and a rebirth. We saw visions of our past lives, of the countless times we'd been separated, of the endless cycle of longing and reunion. We saw the true nature of our connection, a bond that transcended time and space, a love that was more than just an emotion, a love that was the very fabric of the universe. The twist was the denial in our title wasn't about denying our feelings for each other, but about denying the truth of our existence, the truth of our cosmic purpose. We had spent lifetimes denying our true selves, our true potential, our true connection. The final shocking revelation came as the merging reached its climax. We weren't just two halves of a whole, we were the embodiment of balance, the yin and yang, the light and shadow, the creation and destruction. We were the guardians of the sacred flame, the keepers of the cosmic equilibrium. And the love we shared, the love that brought us together, wasn't just a personal emotion, but the very force that held the universe together. The phrase, our love was something we couldn't deny, wasn't about romantic love. It was about the universal love, the fundamental force that bound everything together, the recognition that we were that love, and that denying it would mean the destruction of everything. The journey from strangers to lovers was a journey to self-realization, a journey to becoming the love we were always meant to be.